it's been exciting to watch our guys really, start training. And I think from a guy that's really important to see the progress they've made. Weight room, speed work. We've had a lot of guys that were banged up, and seeing a lot of those guys getting well going into spring. We won't get all those guys back, but I think it's been exciting to watch their bodies change and get themselves ready for spring practice. And I think spring practice for us will be them really understanding kind of what tempo we play at and the speed of the game that we play at. And I think that's been one of the big things we stressed in the weight room, and we're all about creating athletes. And our strength program, Zach Woodfin coming in with us, we got him from Green Bay, former player for me, and played here. And that's been a big deal for us. And I think our players have seen really just how we treat them in the weight room and the importance of that, and from the rest and nutrition and all those things that go into getting ready to practice. And, of course, tomorrow's our first day. Very excited. I think there's a lot of excitement out of our guys. We'll get 5 practices before spring break, and then we'll finish up after spring break, going into right before finals week, getting ready for a big spring game out here. And I think one of our worries and concerns right now is just some of the injuries we had coming in. We can't fix all those things. I think we've gotten a lot of guys well. Depth-wise, we're a little concerned at the offensive line. We went out and signed a bunch of offensive linemen, so we won't get those guys into this summer. So we've got to make it through spring, and you kind of need those O-linemen. They help to practice, so we need those guys. We don't have a lot of them, but the ones we got we're excited about. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works. But everything else we're really excited about. So all positions are wide open, and we'll just see how these guys compete starting tomorrow.
How much can you get implemented with the injuries and with the fact that it's a new staff? How much do you feel like you can get implemented on each side of the ball this spring?
We're just big on throwing it all at them. We throw a lot of things at them, and, it's kind of one of those deals where you throw it up against the wall and it falls off and you throw some more. So it's really kind of an overload situation for them. We won't get into game planning for Troy and Mississippi State and those guys yet, but we will give them a lot of information. And you're also looking for what we can do. So, you kind of know you've got these other guys coming in soon. But you really can't wait on them. You've got to go with what you got and see what these guys can pick up. And and I kind of go back, and I hate to talk about injuries, but I think with as many guys as we've had banged up, you got to mention that. But what that does, that gives that next guy a chance. So you start developing depth and see what he learns and picks up. So, we'll try and put a lot of things in.
Coach, you went through this last year. How does will that help that you can fall back on because you're teaching again for a second consecutive?
Yeah, I think it's a huge help. I really do. I mean, I think to go and say your first meeting, and I've had first meetings before, but your first meeting at almost the same time, new weight room, new all those things, that's a lot of the experiences I think we draw back on, because almost our whole staff was at Jacksonville last year. And it's been a big help, and I think that's some things that's probably given me maybe help me sleep a little bit better to know, okay, we did go through this last year, and it's fairly normal.
How would you evaluate the talent level in terms of your expectations?
I'll know a lot more tomorrow. Everything we would say right now as far as what we've seen just from a speed work and an agility and weight room, I think we're probably in a little better condition than I thought we would be at this time. But, what does that do other than getting them ready to get through practice? So I probably won't be able to talk a lot about that till after tomorrow, and we'll really get to see a ball thrown and et cetera. But, we were alluding to a minute ago. I knew some of these guys from recruiting them at South and, a few of them at Jag State. But I knew a lot of these guys. They were from the area, from the South. So familiar with a lot of them. But to actually see them on the practice field will be, we'll know a lot more then.
You used the word overload. So what do you want to see from the players this spring, because they're going to be grasping a lot, learning a lot, and also fighting for jobs? Correct.
What you want to see them compete day 7 like they did day 1. What do they do when they start getting tired? What do they do when their bodies are sore and they've been getting all this information? How do they process it? Because that's that's what a season is. You've got all this information you're getting, so how is this guy taking all this in, and can he transfer it to play fast on the field? And I think that's one of the things about being a great teacher. And I talk to our coaches all the time about what is a great teacher is a guy, he gives it to them a bunch of different ways. You know, it's written, it's on the board, it's video, it's, you know, how many different ways do we all learn? So we're always trying to teach these guys these things that they can take to the field, and the better they take it to the field, the faster they play. So, you know, you want to take a complex amount of material and give it to them in a simple manner, and that's what good coaches do. And I think those guys that can take that and take it to the field and play fast is what we're looking for. But, you know, obviously we don't want to overload them so much that they can't, you know, that they can't play either.
What are some of the core things you're going to be focusing on this spring? I know you're coming in and coming into this time of year. What are some core things and core values you're going to focus on?
You know, I think one of the big things for me is always it's all about practice. You know, we always laugh. We talk about the old Allen Iverson, you know, where he said practice wasn't that important. And we say it's everything. We want practice to be harder than the games. You know, you've heard Pete Carroll talk a lot about that. But, you know, one of the things I wanted to do, go back to my Prattville days, was it really was a point of pride to say we had the best practices in the country. Well, we didn't know that for sure, but that was our goal. And so everywhere I went, I wanted to see how they were practicing. How did the great teams practice? That's what we're wanting to see for our guys. And, you know, every day we talk about not quitting. You know, and I think that transferred directly from the football field to the academic side to life. You know, it's not giving up. And we want to be as good in the fourth quarter as we were in the first. And, you know, I think a lot of people talk about that. But I think the thing that we want our guys to understand is how do they fight through it? How do they, you know, when they're tired? And then this practice is at such a high tempo. And I'm really big on everybody going at once. You know, we'll have the ones on this end, the twos on this end. So, you know, the whole thing, well, Coach didn't give me a chance. We're going to try and eliminate that. So everybody gets a chance and an opportunity, and then see how they fight through it.
Obviously, these guys haven't tasted a whole lot of success here at UAB. Have you detected any lingering effects from that?
No, I don't think so. But I do think, you know, we were talking about today. I think every defensive category we were over 100th. You know, and I think 123 teams. So somewhere in there, they're going to hear that. And I think that is, we had the same thing at Jack State last year. You know, some of that defensively is technique. It's tackling, it's getting off blocks, it's effort running to the ball. So I won't promise where we'll be, but they are going to be challenged on that every single day. So I don't know if that's winning or losing, but it is, these are the direct things that cause you to win, and these are the things that cause you to lose. You know, ball security. You know, people all the time talk about what kind of offense are you going to be. Well, we're going to be an offense that protects the ball. And if you protect the football, you got a good chance to win. Defensively, we're trying to get the ball. So I think, you know, we go back to those core values or those fundamentals. Those are the things we got to do, and those in terms will help that winning and losing. But I think a player wants to hear, if I do these certain things, success is going to follow. And I think when you've got a pretty good track record, that helps. You know, it's no guarantee that you're going to do it again, but I think it helps our guys have confidence in what we're telling them is correct.
Was the first order of business kind of rebuilding morale?
Yeah, I think so. I think they needed to know that there's a way we train, okay? And one of the ways we train is we hope to work harder than anybody else, but we're going to treat you right, you know, and that means, you know, you ain't going to get cursed out and all those other things, but excellence is going to be demanded. And it's going to be demanded every single day, in every rep, every drill. And, you know, one of the things one of our guys was talking to somebody in the lobby, I guess it was about our second week, and said, okay, that's what it's supposed to look like in the weight room. You know, and I'm not knocking what was going on before, but I'm big on our guys knowing we care about them. And, you know, we're going to ask them about their academics and their day and all those other things. And I say that's the first thing we do, and this football stuff is important too. You know, that's part of who we are. But the demand of this is how it's going to be done, but there's a way to do it. And, you know, and when you don't do it, we're going to do it again. And when you do it right, we're going to brag on you. So I think we want to be, you know, and that's why I tell our coaches all the time, hey, we're going to treat them the way we want to be treated. But, you know, I used to tell my guys at Prattville, when you go and ask them, what is that college coach like? Ask those other players. And so get this guy off the side. I said, now, if he's not working them, he's not going to be there very long. So there's work involved, but I think there's a way to treat them, and I think that creates that morale.
One of the problems that seem to be with the defense, like Tom, is that the they were a step slow in figuring out what was going on.
Right.
And, I mean, they would go in the right direction.
Sure.
But they hesitated.
Right.
What do you do about that?
You know, I think defense is so much about, you know, we're reacting to what the offense does. So you've got to be a student of the offense. And it's kind of like a detective. You know, what creates from this offense, what look are they giving you that causes what they're about to do? Now, what tempo has done, and we could talk about this all day, but what tempo has done, tempo has made it harder to know when these three receivers are grouped together like this, these are the run plays, these are the pass plays. That's being that detective. So one of the things that goes back to being a good teacher. But then there's also just the pure effort of getting off blocks, okay, running to the football, and then being a great tackler. And we want to be tackling experts. And of course, you know, I'm a defensive guy for a while. So there's a system that we have that we talk about every day. We're going to tackle every day. You know, we're going to do a circuit tackling drill where we're doing all these different tackling stations every single day. We're going to run pursuit every day, getting off blocks. So there's a laundry list of things you do defensively, but if it's just from a reaction standpoint, a lot of that is just really understanding that opponent. We're not really into that yet. You know, that'll be something we do in the summer. As we, you know, right now we're just worried about just kind of ourselves.
Does tackling mean a more physical spring?
You know, I think physicality is just who we are. You know, I say this all the time, toughness and physicality, and it's one of the things we talked about last year at Jack State. I still remember my trainer saying, you know, it's some of the best tacklers and most physical people I've seen, yet you're not getting injured. So we're staying off the ground, we're protecting each other, but physicality and toughness is just a mindset. So we talk about that every day. And, you know, football is still about, it is about toughness. You know, you're going to get bumped and bruised and banged, and you got to fight through that, you know. And one of the things we got here at UAB, we're a medical school, so we're going to treat our guys really good. You know, so you're going to get the best care in the country at UAB. So, but that, all those things, you know, all the things we talk about, the ice baths, the nutrition, all those things allow you to practice better, which allows you to be more physical and tough. You know, I think it all goes together.
You said that every position is open.
Correct.
I would have to imagine that the quarterback position would be one of the most open.
Right.
That you don't have anybody who's thrown a pass here at UAB.
Right.
How much of a challenge is that, and what do you hope to see out of those guys tomorrow's first practice?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. I think, you know, we all know football, we go as the quarterback goes. We don't, you know, really make any bones about that. I think we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do. I think they've worked really hard just from the training standpoint. I know they have to do a lot of the things on their own to get ready. So we really won't know till we get out there tomorrow. You know, just being real honest. We'll know a lot more after tomorrow, I guess.
You guys mostly no huddle spread type offense?
We are. We're, you know, and we just, one of the big things for us has always been, you know, taking what the defense gives us. And it's been more of, you know, if we can run it 10 times in a row, we're going to run it 10 times in a row. If we need to throw it 10 times in a row, and I know that's not a great answer, but I think defensively the people that has always scared me is the ones that could do it all. You know, they couldn't just run, they couldn't just throw. The quarterback was mobile. It was a multiple, and that's what we want to do. You know, trick plays are no longer trick plays anymore. We practice them. We're going to spread you, you know, horizontally and vertically, but we want to be able to run the ball. So I think it's all those things, and that's kind of the system we want is to be able to encompass all those things. And then we want to do what the defense is not good at, to be real honest. So, you know, I just know defensively I've sat there many times going, boy, I hope he doesn't run that play again. And so we want to be smart enough to, you know, not be too smart and be able to take what they give us.
How was Jordan Howard's offseason? I mean, he was one of the top freshmen,
Correct.
Not just in the state, but all over, really. So did he take the necessary steps to continue to make the progress that he needed to make?
He's one of those guys that was banged up. You know, he's been doing everything we could let him do to get back well. He won't take a lot of contact in the spring, but he'll go through. And, you know, I see a good progression out of him. Obviously, he's from just a frame standpoint and what you'd like a running back to look like. Well, he looks the part. And I think we got a bunch of good running backs. So offensive skill minus the quarterback, which is an unknown right now, we feel pretty good about.